Wow. It's been 1 month since I first started this wild food diet. Today is day 31, and what a journey it's been so far. You can see in the previous videos just what I've been doing, and I don't really have too many words to explain it. I feel at peace and in balance. I'm walking the same cycle as nature. Different things are coming up at different seasons, and we're just on the turn. We've got a bunch of new growth from different things coming up, and I found my first St. George's after about 5 years of not finding any. I decided to explore a new spot, and wow, the haul that I found was absolutely amazing. I had 2 mushroom boxes full of St. George's, so that's going to be my dinner for the next few days. Absolutely amazing. So delicious, so delicious. Now in the first 2 weeks I lost 6 kilograms of weight. It seems to be a standard across everyone who has been on this diet that eating wild food, you lose a dramatic amount of weight at the start and then it balances out. And after the first 2 weeks, because I was very active harvesting the birch sap and burning it down over a fire, reducing it down over a fire, collecting all my own wood, it took a lot of calories and a lot of energy to achieve that. And that's when I lost most of my weight. I seem to have plateaued out now. I'm kind of balanced, so we'll see if I happen to lose any more. But I think I'm not going to lose too much weight from now on. It's relatively balanced, but I'll keep an eye on it. And I have my venison tallow, and I'm making more batches of pemmican, so it's going to be okay. And there's more things coming out, so many more things. So I'm going to be enjoying and feasting, and yeah, it's almost time for crayfish season, so I'm going to be trying to catch some signal crayfish, which are an invasive species that have taken over our waterways in the UK. So I'm going to have a go at trying to catch some of those, and that will be some amazing feasting. The flesh is a little bit like lobster. I haven't really been that hungry in between meals. It's finding this new rhythm, this new cycle, and by eating highly nutritious things, I find that I'm only hungry when my body actually needs something, and then I go and eat, and then my body's satisfied again until the next meal. And the meals are a lot smaller, but packed with so much nutrition. And I find when I've slacked a bit on adding certain greens to the mixture, or I just have been a bit lazy in preparing something, my body wants more of it, it can eat more of it. So it's really interesting to feel the differences in my body, and just becoming in tune with the rhythm, with the cycle. I'm a lot clearer in mind. I've got more energy. My senses are just so clear. It takes me back to when I used to eat almost as clean and wild as this. But it's also finding my routines. After the first week I'd found some sort of routine, and then my acorn flour ran out, and I'm still leaching the acorns from the next batch, which are almost ready, I think. But it's just been changing the way that I make things. Like, I've been using pendulous sedge seed a lot, I've been using reed mace flour a lot from the fluff. So it's just been finding new ways, experimenting, and it's really remarkable on what we can actually create out of purely wild food ingredients. Some things almost resemble traditional dishes. If you see Lisa and the spaghetti and meatballs she made out of out to sea spaghetti and venison and rose hip puree. Wow. A lot of us are actually feasting. We're living in luxury with these wild meals. So I'm just going to go about and continue my routines, I suppose. I am stuck in inland for 3 weeks while my mother goes to the Philippines and goes to see her family. So I'll be here looking after the place and doing a lot of my things based around here, which now that spring is in full swing, there is so much to harvest. And yeah, I'm glad that I didn't bother trying to book too much work during this course, because it's enabled me to dedicate so much time to actually gathering, playing around with things, just listening to what my body needed when it needs it. And I really love that. I think our modern world is just too fast-paced, too demanding, and displaced so far away from our natural disposition, what our bodies truly need, truly desire. It would be amazing to see a restructure of society in a way that nourishes us. And if you're nourished, you'll have more motivation to do beneficial things for the community, it would be a much nicer place to live, instead of this capitalist, busy, non-stop existence that a lot of us find ourselves caught up in. And I left the rat race when in my early 20s. I decided to stay self-employed and just live the life I wanted to live, focus on my own projects, make sure that I always have enough money for what I need, but I didn't want to work a full-time job. And I pushed towards that, and over a decade in my 20s, I achieved that through my own experiences, through the gaining of my own skills to be able to teach foraging. And since then it just feels like my life is exactly where I need to be.
This is my third attempt at making pemmican. I make sure I keep fruit in there this time because it really helps to enhance the flavour and also gives a balanced nutritional profile because you have your vitamins and other things that the meat doesn't provide in the berries. So this time I've used a blend of pheasant and venison meat, some wild blackberries, some wild blueberries, some sea buckthorn pulp, which was thankfully donated by Sea Buckthorn Scotland, who make some amazing juices. So be sure to check them out. It's a fully local UK based sea buckthorn berry company, so it's a really good place to get if you want your sea buckthorn. But so I'm going to see how this one turns out. In my last batch I had some Japanese quince in there, which gave a really nice tang, and I'm hoping that the sea buckthorn pulp that I've added will give a similar kind of flavour, because that was really nice in the pemmican. It gave a really pleasant aftertone when you were eating it. But the blend in here should still be delicious, even if it doesn't have that tang, and loads of vitamin C, considering that we're using the dried berries of the sea buckthorn in here. Now I've also added a little bit of seaweed powder and a sprinkle of salt, a bit of common hogweed seed, just to give it some extra undertones to the pemmican. So I'm just going to stick this in the fridge, and when it's cooled down we can take it out of here and put it in a box. I've just been on a little bit of a bike ride, and I'm exploring places that I've not really thought to come and explore before. And look what I've got right here. I've already filled another bag full of St. George's, and you can see the patch just in here, and it looks hidden. And when you start coming in, following the circle, and suddenly we have mushrooms.